Okay, moving on to the confidence interval. Just highlighting a few things. You have most of this. The procedure is called a 2-sample T interval. And in our stating, we're just addressing what we're actually finding here. And so confidence interval for the additional cost. I'm using the question, the stem of the question, to help me address that stating part. Planning. This is the nice part about means. You don't have to do a separate formula for normality. Once you check them in the hypothesis test, they're the same for the confidence interval. You just have to check them once. So just addressing conditions already met as stated above. I showed you the formula for your 2-sample mean. And remember, T critical comes from the chart. And I'm going to address it here in a second. And the other thing, this piece here, that's again the denominator from the problem that we did a minute ago, the hypothesis test. So this is on your formula sheet. So filling in the numbers, the T critical came from the table, and just revisiting that one more time, I looked at 95% on the bottom of the table, and then I came up, and remember, both of the sample sizes were 10. So I'm doing degree of freedom, smaller of the two, so it's just 9. So I'm going to look where 9 and 95% intersect, and that's the number I'm getting, 2.262. That's my critical value. And filling the numbers, I come up with this interval here. Now, again, when I did the conclusion, I wrote it as a comparison where one was weighted. And because this is the 2-bedroom apartment, he's going to dominate in a way. Okay? And so he's weighted more in his favor. So the bigger number is weighted in him. So when I write this, I'm going to use that as a comparison. We are 95% confident that the actual difference in the mean rent can be anywhere for the 2-bedroom apartment being $2.94 cheaper per month to being $158.90 more expensive. The negative being in favor of the 2-bedroom apartment, more expensive, okay, per month than the 1-bedroom. That's using the comparison. But do you have to write it that way? No. You can write just, we are 95% confident that the actual difference in the mean monthly rent between a 1-bedroom apartment and a 2-bedroom apartment is between, and you can say this in money-wise, negative $158.90 to $2.94. And just stop there. You don't have to give the comparison. It's nice to know and understand why those negative signs go, in one direction versus the other. But I think you'll be able to get some credit. You'll be fine. They're not going to mark off, I don't think, for you just writing that last statement that I said. And that's basically the bones of what we're doing. Okay? And so I think means are way easier because this is the same as your test, the standard error part. And you're not having to prove normality differently. You're not having to, when do I use a p-hat? When do I use a p-hat combined? So proportions, I think, are way more involved and than what means are. So that's why I kind of save this for the last, because we're trying to tie up loose ends, and I think it's a little bit cleaner and easier to see after you've accomplished the hard stuff. So hopefully I've done this justice and given you something to go by. And so I'd like for you to try 13.1b and then question number 8 on the handouts that I've given you through Google Classroom. So give those a try and let me know if I can be of some help. Thanks a bunch.